first thing through my mind was, this can't be real. 'Cause as a surfer, you think about it, but it's really rare to happen. And yeah, I was completely shocked. I was completely like, wow, like I can't believe this is real.
Preview of our next guest. Some graphic images here. We blurred them, and they're still tough to look at. It's the foot of Florida College student Chris Pospisil. The 21-year-old recalling the terrifying moment he saw his foot in a shark's mouth last Friday, just one of nearly a half a dozen recent shark attacks up and down the East Coast.
So literally, this happened a week ago. Wild. Chris out there enjoying a day out there in New Smyrna Beach in Florida when he was dragged underwater. And that's just south of Daytona on the Atlantic coast there, pointing that out. Chris is still laid up on the couch, obviously, from this. He joins us live to talk about that day, along with his friend Reece Reddish, who helped rescue him. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on. Chris, wow. Take us to, I don't even know where to begin with you. Can you take us back to being on your board and tell the viewers what happened and what you experienced that day?
Yeah, it was pretty hectic. It was like an average day of surfing. We're just two friends having a good time in the water, and we got there at 9 a.m. and I got attacked around 3 p.m. So we were there for a good amount of time, and I had just told Reece, we were sitting on our boards in the water. I had just told him, I was like, hey, let's get a couple more waves and wrap it up, because we're both getting kind of tired. And he was like, sure, man. And then like right after I said that, just the shark came from under me and grabbed me by my foot and tipped me over the other side of my board. And as I was going underwater, I saw my foot in the shark's mouth, and I saw it like clamp down to my foot. And then I kicked it with my right leg, and it let me go. And when I came up, Reece was already there, pulled me back on my board and helped me get out of there.
Oh my gosh, that is terrifying. Wow, and you guys have experience. Clearly, you've surfed before, you haven't experienced anything like this. Many people have gone in the ocean shark-free, thankfully, and not had to come face-to-face with a shark. But Chris, clearly, you're writing this one down for your fun fact, or maybe not so fun. But Reece, I know you were there, thankfully, and you were able to offer assistance. When did you know that there was something seriously wrong that Chris was experiencing?
I heard splashing, and then he came out of the water and yelled at me. He got bit, and that's when I paddled over to him and tried to help him on his board and get him in the shore.
Reece, how long have you been surfing with Chris?
We've been surfing for about 3 years, I'd say.
And nothing like this has ever happened? No scares, no shark scares, anything like that?
I mean, we're in the ocean. We've had scares, but we've never been bit before.
That's unbelievable. Chris, I'll go back to you on this one. They're obviously having your friend right there with you. You saw the shark. You saw your own foot in its mouth. You fought back. You kicked. Do you know, I'm just curious, how big was this shark? Do you remember?
I couldn't really see it. I mean, I just saw its head, but I'm going to guess it's around 6 feet or so.
Wow.
Wow. And then take us through what happened next, right? Reece was able to help you out. I'm assuming you guys called. You got clearly medical attention.
Yeah, so the second I realized it bit me, like I immediately realized, and I was like, hey, it bit me, Reece, it bit me, it bit me, it bit me. And, he pulled me on my board, and he pushed me into a wave. He caught the same wave, so we kind of like boogie boarded this wave into shore. And then he helped me up and like carried me and was like carrying me through the water because I couldn't swim or anything. And he got me to where it was shallow enough that I'd be all right. And I told him to go get a lifeguard. And then I started crawling through the water to the closer to the shore or whatever. And there's blood everywhere.
Oh my goodness. Well, to see you be able to laugh about this today and thinking back, it's quite something. Does this stop you guys from surfing? Are you done surfing? You putting the boards away?
Absolutely not.
No.
I'm still gonna surf.
Still gonna do it. All right. How long you got on the mend here, Chris?
What was that?
How much longer do you have on the mend? How long do you have to do rehab or stay on the couch? When will you be able to get back up and out?
All right. So 6 to 8 weeks is. I can't walk for 6 to 8 weeks.
Wow.
And after the 8th week, when I should be able to walk again, I start rehab or PT.
We're rooting for you. Were you before we go? Were you in deep water? I'm just curious for our viewers.
It wasn't even that deep. It was probably like 5 feet deep, and yeah, it wasn't even that deep.
Yeah.
That is wild. Again, we always hear these reports. We talk to marine biologists that say that the sharks are moving closer and closer to shore, 5 feet deep. I mean, that's typically where you're hanging out at if you're out there in the water. We appreciate the time, guys. Chris, best to you. Thanks for sharing that story. Reece, a good guy to have around. Best to both of you.